Hello everyone, welcome to the Strategic Marketing Management lecture series. Today we are going to do the second lecture on Strategic Marketing Management process. So my name is Nuresh Erand. So this is the outline of the today's lesson. First we are trying to discuss the strategic management. We'll try to define it and then different perspectives on strategy to understand the strategy in more detail. Then the strategic marketing management process. I believe this is the most important part of the today's discussion. So we are going to discuss the strategic marketing management process under 5 headings. So let's begin with defining the strategic management. So in the very first lecture, we discussed about the strategy, its meaning. So when we define the strategic management as a discipline, basically this is all about we are trying to achieve the organization's objectives in a way by using our organization strategies, and at the end of the day we are trying to improve our organization performance. So according to Johnson's et al. 2016, so they told within the strategic management there are 3 components. So those things are given in separate colors even here. So the first component is understanding the strategic position. So that's what you need to do firstly. So here what is happening is we try to understand the current situation of the organization, and then from there onwards we need to move to the making strategic choices. So it's all about strategy development. So we are going to discuss even that in our future lectures. The third component is about managing strategy into action, or in other words strategy implementation. So strategic management as a discipline, it consists of 3 sections: identification of the strategic position, the current situation of the organization, and then you need to develop the strategies, or you need to make the strategic choices, and third we have to implement the strategy, so managing strategy into action. So these are the this is the elaborative content of strategic management. So the first component, the strategic position, so there you can see what you need to analyze under the strategic position. So the external environment, all the external factors including the pest factors, the industry, and even your competitors you need to analyze there. Then internal environment within the organization, particularly your organization resources, your capabilities, the core competencies, distinctive competencies, all these things we have to analyze under the internal environment. And a special component of internal environment is organization culture, that we need to pay our attention even in marketing, which really matters a lot, particularly when you're trying to implement a strategy. So because of that, organization culture has to be analyzed separately. And another very important component is the purpose of the organization, or the overriding vision, missions. So what is really underlying objectives of your organization should also be analyzed under the purpose. And then moving from there to the second main component, the strategic choices. So here I have listed it out into 5 main types of strategic choices organizations have to make. The first one is corporate level strategy, so which is all about how the organizations are growing, how we can add more business units into your organization's portfolio. The second one is business level strategy, which is about how you can compete in the marketplace. Particularly if you take any organization, it consists of several SBUs, or we call it strategic business units. So how each of the strategic business unit is going to compete in the marketplace. So that's basically about business level strategy. Then international strategies, mainly in international marketing, we are discussing this as a separate strategic option. So under international strategies also we have to make several strategic choices. Some organizations trying to adopt a global strategy, some they can adopt transnational strategy. So like that there are so many international strategies are available, so you have to select the one which is really suitable for your organization. Then the strategy methods. So here it's all about how you can pursue the strategies that you have selected. So so under the strategy methods, the possible options are like organic development or internal development is there, and mergers and acquisitions are there, strategic alliances are there in the modern marketplace. So out of these options, which one you are going to select? So that comes under the strategy methods. The last one is innovation and entrepreneurship. I think from a marketing perspective also, these are very important. So what are the innovative options? So some organization, they're trying to be the innovative leader. Some are like innovations, they just want to follow the main competitor or the main organization. So you can be just an innovative follower. And also entrepreneurship. So there are so many choices even to make under that as well. So these are the strategic choices available for organization. The third component is all about strategy into action or the implementation part. So there I just pointed out four things: the strategy, performance and evaluation. So that's all about you have to evaluate your organization performance to check whether you have achieved the plan that you have set. And also organizing. So when you are going to implement a strategy, you have to organize the organization really well. So the things like organization structure, what kind of systems that you are going to have, so that comes under the organizing part. And managing the changes for your organization. Suppose if you are going to go for a very big change in the organization, so you need to change so many things within that organization. For example, you may be going towards digitalization, so which can be a one part of your change. So how can you do that? How can you bring that change into the DNA of the organization? So that comes under the managing change. The final one is strategy practice. So that's about basically the practical aspect of the strategy, the role that each and every strategist has to do within the organization. So this is a kind of big picture. So this slide is basically explaining you the big picture of the elements of strategic management. So when you take the strategy as a term, so there are different perspectives that I want to bring out here in order to understand the concept of strategy in a more detailed way. So I put three most important scholars, how they define strategy to get an understanding. Firstly, we look at the Alfred Chandler. So his explanation is all about, you can read it even here, the determination of the long run goals and objectives of an enterprise, and adoption of courses of action and allocation of resource necessary to carry out the goals. So what he is basically talking here is a kind of logical flow. So where first organizations have to set the goals and objectives, and thereafter you can go for actions and then you can implement. So he is trying to say first you develop the strategy and then go and implement. So it's a kind of a logical flow. So that is his view of regarding the strategy. The second the scholar that I have chosen here is the Michael Porter. I think from a marketing perspective, his definition and his explanation on the strategy is much more relevant. So how he defined the strategy, he basically refers to the competitive strategy when he's defining the strategy. So what he's telling, the strategy is all is helpful for organization to make them really different from rest of the other competition. So here it says it means deliberately choosing a different set of activities to deliver a unique mix of value. So you are trying to make your organization a very unique, very different one in the marketplace. So which leads ultimately, we can say the strategy creates a unique position for organization. So according to Michael Porter, he is telling strategy does not make you the best organization. Strategy will make you a different organization. So that is his viewpoint. I think from a marketing perspective, you can do all the marketing activities to make your organization a very different, very unique one from the rest of the other competitors. So that's basically the Michael Porter's view. Henry Mintzberg is telling another different story about the strategy. What he's telling, you can see the 3 points I have pointed out there, a pattern in a stream of activities. So he's telling organization can perform different activities, and thereafter you need to identify what are the underlying patterns of these activities, what are the common patterns, and then this pattern can be interpreted as the organization's strategy. So he is basically telling strategy does not follow a deliberate chosen logical plan. So it's the opposite side of earlier we discussed Alfred Chandler's explanation. So he told a logical flow is the strategy. Now Henry Mintzberg is telling strategy is not a logical flow. So it does not come out from a deliberately developed structure. Strategies can be just emerge within organization when they are dealing with the day-to-day activities. So that's basically the definition or the explanation provided by the Henry Mintzberg. So if I give you a summary here, Alfred Chandler told strategy is a logical flow. Start from one and then number two, number three is like that. It's a flow. Michael Porter is telling strategy helps you to make your organization a unique one, different one. Henry Mintzberg is telling strategy is just emerge within the organization activity. So these are different perspectives that we can provide to explain the strategy. So how we summarize all these things to explain the strategic marketing management. So here I have put it like we need to have a deliberate view, and also we need to have an emergent view to have the strategic marketing management. What does it mean? Deliberate view means we have to develop it, we have to develop the strategies by putting some effort. Top management, the marketing people can get together and they can discuss the organization's issues, and then you can deliberately develop the strategy. So that is one part. So you can conduct meetings and you can do it very nicely. Emergent means the practical aspect. When you have deliberately developed the strategies and when you are trying to implement it, there may be lots of changes in the business environment. Now these days you can see COVID-19 has influenced the organizations to a drastic level. For example, if you take airline industry, most of the aircrafts are now on the floor. They are unable to fly now, no passengers. Now you have to come up with the more practical oriented strategy. That's basically emergent. The organization, some creative people can come up with a very innovative ideas, very new perspectives to bring out your organization into the normal situation right now. So that's the emergent view. So in marketing management, particularly from a strategic marketing management, you need to combine both. You need to have a deliberate strategy, your plans which are already being developed, and also you need to have an emergent view as well to make your strategy a kind of a very updated one. So I like to see both of these are combining and developing the strategic marketing management. Then, so this is the strategic marketing management process, our third section of the today's lesson. This one I borrowed from Kerin and Peterson's book. So there are different authors have provided different strategic marketing management processes, but I personally like this explanation. So that's why I am going to adopt the Kerin and Peterson's explanation into this discussion. So they told under the strategic marketing management process, there are 5 things you need to do. The first one, defining the organization's business, mission and goal as the number one. And then you have to identify and framing the organization growth opportunities. You need to pick up the organization growth opportunities. Formulate product market strategies. Fourth one, budgeting, marketing, financial and production resources. Last one, developing reformulation and recovery strategy. So we'll discuss one by one in this process. So we'll take the number one, defining the organization's business, mission and goal. So there are three things to be defined under this process as the first step. So how you can define your business? So your business definition. So you need to know what your business is really doing. So they pointed out you need to identify the type of customers that you are going to serve. They can be youngsters, they can be the people who are above 60. So you need to really understand what kind of customers that you are serving, and then particular needs of those customer groups it wishes to satisfy. So there are so many needs customers have, so which need that you are going to exactly satisfy, and then the means or the technology that you can use to satisfy the customers. So this is what you can do to define your business as the very first step of defining the business mission and goal. And then you have to define your organization mission. I think this is something that all of us are familiar, the mission statement. So it basically lay out the organization scope of activities, what you are really doing as an organization. Even in the very first lecture I told, the scope is all about what kind of markets that you're operating in and what kind of activities you do within those markets. So you need to define that scope of the organization. So when you go to the third line of this slide, mission describes the organization purpose with reference to its customers. So you have organization purpose with reference to your customer, what you are going to deliver to your customers. And what is your product purpose? What your product is going to stand for? What is your service? What kind of markets that you are going to serve? What is your organization philosophy? Are your organization going to value the ethical aspect? Is that your philosophy? What is the main reason for your existence? And what kind of technology that you are using? What is the purpose of using that technology? For example, your organization may be using social media to communicate your products to the customer. So why you are using the social media to communicate your products to the customer? So you need to define basically the organization purpose with respect to these aspects. Then you have to define your business goals of the organization once you define your mission. So here basically goal is all about you have to convert your organization mission into some tangible aspects. Now here I have taken example of 3M, which is one of the biggest industrial conglomerate in the world. So they emphasizes research and development and innovation in its business mission. So they are emphasizing as organization we want to be R&D driven. We want to do innovations. So how can you convert that mm, mission into a goal? So you have to convert the mission into tangible one, like which is given in here. 30% of the annual revenue must come from company products that are less than 4 years old. So you can see that research and development and innovation focus is being tangibilized in this goal, where they are trying to bring 30% of the annual revenue from new products. So this is what you can do. So you are converting your mission into some tangible components in defining the business goals. So here is also a kind of a way that you can categorize your business goals. You can have production goals based on your production activities, manufacturing, service capacity, product quality. So you can have some goals for that. Financial goals, there are so many, like ROI is how much return on sales, profit, your cash flow. All this you can define it in a quantifiable manner. And then marketing goals, like your market share, marketing productivity aspect, particularly in sales management. We discuss a lot on the productivity, your sales volume, profit, the extent of your customer satisfaction, customer value creation, what kind of goals you are going to have for that, and customer lifetime value. So this is a kind of a categorization of business goals. So, in addition to that, what I have to say here, when it comes to business goals, the goal setting should be problem centered and future oriented. When you are setting goals, your goal should be based on or grounded on the organization problems. Then it is much more effective, and it should be more future oriented as well, because then it gives you a kind of a guidance regarding how you can pursue the goals very effectively. And also, goals should arise from understanding of the current situation. Make sure you do the situation analysis first, and then based on that you develop the goals in the organization. Otherwise you cannot have this linkage properly. Then we are moving to the number 2 in this process, identifying and framing organizational growth opportunities. So there I want to tell you several points. The first thing is all about, we need to convert some of the organizational opportunities into organizational opportunities. So there are a lot of environmental opportunities are there, but what we need to do in marketing, we have to convert these environmental opportunities into organizational opportunities. Then only we are successful. So they are what we can do. So the first thing that we need to question is, what might we do, or what are the possibilities available. So here I want to introduce the concept of environmental opportunity. What do you mean by environmental opportunity? How you can capture environmental opportunity? So here you can see the unmet consumer needs in the marketplace. If you take, let's say, food and beverage industry, what are the unmet customer needs? What are the unsatisfied buyer groups of your organization? What are the new means or technology to deliver value to a customer? So we'll take an example here. We'll take the floriculture industry, the industry which is running on based on the flowers. So there may be a lot of, now if you take a big mega city in the world, or even in any country, so within that big city, can you find flowers? It's very difficult, but they need flowers for some of the occasions. So there are a lot of unmet consumer needs with respect to the flowers. They may need flowers with very good or fresh flowers, but it is not available. So there are a lot of unmet customer needs are the unsatisfied buyer groups are available. And then you have to pick up new means or technology to deliver the value to customer. It's not only identifying the customers are available, you have to pick up a new technology to deliver your flowers into those customers. For example, you can start online platform, like for example, think about organization like Amazon, where you can put the flowers into your online platform and allow the customers to select whatever the flowers that you have on your platform, and then it becomes your technology to reach the customer. So here it's all about you have to pick up the environmental opportunity. Next, what do we do best? There may be environmental opportunities available, but we have to do a best thing. So here we introduce the concept of organization capability or distinctive competency. We have to develop our competencies to pick up the business opportunities in a very effective way. Now, for example, as a floriculture organization, you have to develop flowers, or you have to cultivate the flowers in variety of colors to give your customers a very good value at the end of the day. So that can be sometimes your distinctive competency. One organization may be really good at in terms of having a selection of flowers, or they may be having the capacity or competency of developing a very big selection of flowers. That is your distinctive competency. You may be really good at in that. So this is all about you make yourself a capable organization. There's a one more. What must we do? We may be really good at in developing or creating flowers, but we need to do what the market really needs. That's all about introducing the concept of key success factors. What is key success factor? We need to do what the customer needs, what the market requires. So here you see key success factors are basic tasks that an organization must perform in a market or industry to compete successfully. Example, as our floriculture industry, in our floriculture industry, we have to have good logistics and distribution. Why? Because we may have planted, we have developed very nice flowers, but if we don't have logistics and distribution properly, can we deliver a very good product at the end of the day to the customer? No, because flower is a perishable products. So to make it more effective, you need to have very good logistics and distribution channel with you. So what we need to do, we have to bring something which is really important to create value to the marketplace. So that's basically your key success factors. So to summarize, so we can point out something like this kind of picture. So this is the big picture of what we have discussed so far under the organization opportunity. We need to pick up environment opportunity which is available in the marketplace, and then you need to develop your distinctive competency, your main ability you have to develop. But when you develop it, you have to link this distinctive competency to the key success factor in order to be very effective in capturing the environmental opportunities. So it's like a big relationship. You pick up the environment opportunity, you develop the distinctive competency, but it should match with the market requirements. So that's basically about the environmental opportunity. Moving from there, under the same step, you need to do a good SWOT analysis. Now this is a kind of a framework that most of you are familiar even in some of the other courses. So it's a kind of formal framework for just to identify and framing organizational growth opportunities. So you can identify the organization growth opportunities by looking at your SWOT metrics. So organization growth opportunity basically results from the good fit between an organization internal capabilities and your external environment. So you have to make a kind of a comparison here. your internal capabilities should match with your external environment in order to find the good opportunities for the organization. So I have just defined what is a strength, what is a weakness, opportunity and a threat. You can just read it later. One important point that I want to make under the SWOT analysis is, when you are developing a SWOT table, please remember it is not just listing out strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. You have to go beyond just listing out these four components. You need to basically evaluate each of the component, and you have to identify how each basically affect on the organization. Take for example, strength. Strength is where your organization is good at. So what you have to do, you have to ask the question, does it represent the distinctive competency? The strength that you have, is it representing the distinctive competency? Otherwise, there is no meaning. So your strength has to go in line with the distinctive competency of the organization. Let's take weaknesses. When it comes to weaknesses, you have to ask the question, which weakness disqualify achieving your opportunities? So what are the weaknesses becoming like a barrier for you to pursue the opportunities in the business environment? So you have to remove those kind of weaknesses from the organization. So you see here, SWOT is not just listing out these four components. You have to go beyond listing out. You have to relate each of the strength, weakness, opportunities and threats in the organization. So that is the way that you can identify and frame the organizational growth opportunities through a SWOT analysis. So we'll try to do this one practically when we are going to develop our marketing plan in our future lectures. Moving into the third of this process, formulating product market strategies. So product market strategy. So the very famous model that to bring out here is the ANSOF matrix. So some people call it even product market matrix as well, because one axis talks about the product, other axis talks about the market. So here the product axis is divided into existing products and the new products. Market also existing product, existing market and the new market. So out of that you can see there are four main strategies are available under the product market strategy. So we'll talk about one by one quickly. So the first one is market penetration strategy. So it is all about you are trying to offer your existing product into the existing market. So what does it involve? It basically increase the present buyers usage. You can ask your existing customers to use it more, the existing product. Attract buyers of competing offers. Your customers may be there may be customers who are buying the competitors' products. Now you can offer something for them to attract them to your product. Stimulate product trial among potential customers. There may be some customers who are not interested about you, and you can stimulate them to come to your product. So that's basically what is really involved in the market penetration strategy. From a marketing perspective, what you can do as the activities. So here we have to forget about the product aspect of the marketing mix, and then what are the other aspects? Prices. Reduce the prices and let the customers who come in and buy you one. Distribution, yes, obviously you can expand your distribution and let new customers who come in and buy. Heavier promotion, do more promotion, mainly in the social media. Give some buzz for your product and make it more prioritize, and then let the customers who come and buy. So that's basically what you can do from a marketing perspective to implement the market penetration strategy. Market development. it's all about a new market and you are introducing your existing product. So what you can do under marketing activities here, modification of just the basic offering, and then different distribution outlets. You can go for different outlets and reach some new geographical areas. You can reach some new customer segments as well. And also there can be some changes in sales effort and advertising. So with that you can reach some new market segments. So this is all about you reach a new market with the existing product that you have. Product development strategy. So here the thing that you need to do is you have to offer a new product, but your customers are the existing ones. So here I just provided some approaches. Product innovation, come up with a total new one. Product augmentation, just try to enhance the customer value by making some adjustment to the existing product. Product line extension, you can broaden your product line. And some important point I want to mention here. Successful new offerings should have a significant point of difference. What is this point of difference? You need to have a very different unique feature out of your new product in order to be much more effectively reach your customers at the end of the day. So we'll take it in the next slide with an example. Potential for cannibalism should be considered. What is cannibalism? Sometimes when you are developing a new product, it can destroy your existing products demand that may be having. For example, when a company which is in the industry of, let's say, soap, when you are introducing a new soap, it may sometimes reduce the demand of one of your existing soap, where the customers are moving from your existing soap to the new product. So that should not happen. So that's why you need to have point of difference. You need to have some unique feature in the new product to give more value to the customers than the existing products. So what is this point of difference? So here we'll compare between the Apple and the Sony. So the point of difference, you can see how Apple and Sony are different. So that's the point of difference. So Apple side, powerful in terms of online distribution. Apple is basically offering so many things using the online. So they are a kind of a platform actually. It's a platform company. Sony is a kind of powerful retail store. Sony products are available in the retail stores. When you go to the supermarket, in the supermarket, or in the computer shops, or in the case of some of the electronic shops, the Sony products would be available. Apple is a design-oriented organization. They talk about the product designing a lot. They want to make their product much more relevant in terms of the designing aspect. Sony is a quality oriented because it's a Japanese company. For Japanese companies, the quality is the most important thing. Powerful in terms of communication in Apple. It's a big communication tool, Apple. When you have Apple phone, you can connect any part of the world with anyone. But Sony, that is not a communication tool. Sony is a reader than a media device. It is just like a kind of a tool which is helpful for you to read something. So that's the idea. Point of parity. What are the similarities? Both are communication tools. Ebook content, online and retail distribution. So there are some similarities are there, but the two brands are different from each other. So this difference you have to capture very nicely when you are going for a product development. Diversification. What is it? New products, new markets. So that's this strategy is a little bit risky actually. Why? You are moving from the existing ones to the new ones. So when you are going for new things, it is a little bit risky. That's why in here you have to have distinct competencies as an organization. So later we can discuss diversification has varieties like related, unrelated. So that's for our later discussion. And then under the formulating product market strategies, so what the marketing mix and customer value proposition is. Now marketing mix is basically the main tool the marketers are using to deliver value to the customer at the end of the day. So you have to match your offerings or your products and markets requires the good marketing mix. In order to match your offering with the marketplace, you need a good marketing mix, obviously. An effective marketing mix should all the time you have to convey a customer value proposition. Your marketing mix, in the marketing mix, the underlying theme should be the customer value proposition. What is it? Customer value proposition is all about why your customer should come and buy from you. What is the reason for customers to come and buy from you? So I can give you some enormous number of examples, but we'll take the example given in here, Michelin tires. Why people should buy the Michelin tires? Providing safety, conscious parents, greater security in tires at a premium price. So they talk about the safetiness of their tires. So if some parents are really concerned about their child's safety, you better have Michelin tires for your vehicle. So that's the value proposition. So if you are a parent who is loving kids, better to have Michelin tires for your vehicle. So that's the reason why the people should come and buy Michelin. Some other examples are also given. So I can just focus on one example here. We'll take the last row, Domino's Pizza. The target customers are convenience-minded pizza lovers. The people who like to eat pizza, they are their target market. So what are the benefits that Domino's Pizza want to provide to their customer base? Quick delivery, speed, good quality. So what is your customer value proposition? A good hot pizza delivered to your door within 30 minutes of ordering. So it is very quick, it is good in quality, it is very fresh. So that's all about your customer value proposition. Why the pizza lovers should come and buy from Domino's. So that is the reason for people to come and buy from Domino's. So that's the customer value proposition. And then you need to formulate a good marketing mix at the end of the day when you want to deliver your customer value proposition. The appropriate marketing mix for a product or service depends on the key success factors in the marketplace. What is the key success factor? Based on the key success factor, you have to decide your marketing mix. The rightness of the marketing mix depends on the market that you are serving. Sometimes when you are reaching the school kids, the right marketing mix is very different to compare with reaching a professional working crowd. So the rightness of your marketing depends on what kind of customers that you are serving. Marketing mix should be consistent with your organization capacity. You need to do what you can do. Don't try to go and imitate what your competitors are doing. So that's basically we are reaching a little bit of towards the Michael Porter's idea. Michael Porter told strategy is all about what makes you different from rest of the others. So marketing mix should also be like that. Our marketing mix should help at the end of the day to make us very different from the competitors. Evaluating the marketing mix for its internal consistency and timing. Marketing mix is only one thing. There are so many other things in the organization. So marketing mix and your internal consistency should be maintained. You have to have resources within the organization to deliver your marketing mix, and with those resources, between those resources and the marketing mix, there should be a good consistency. And implementing it. So when you are going to implementation, so this is the most difficult part. Actually, implementation is a kind of art. Successful implementer requires a lot of things you need to understand when you come to implementation. You have to understand the markets and what are the issues in that market, what are the problems that they have, environmental forces, how the environment is changing, how technology is changing, what kind of pandemics are there, like the today's conditions. So when those pandemics are there, how can you distribute your product, how can you promote your product, organization capacity you have to think of before you are implementing your marketing mix, competitor reactions, what kind of action that your competitors can bring out. All these things you need to keep in your mind when you are going to implement your marketing mix. And then we can move into our fourth step: budgeting, marketing, financial, and production resources. So you have to think about budgeting here. So what is budgeting? I think you may have taken some accounting courses. You know what budget is all about. We are preparing a kind of a forecasted document covering our income and the expenditures. So budget is a kind of formal, quantifiable expression of your marketing activities. So you have to prepare it. Sometimes the accountant in the organization, the accounting professionals, they will help us here. So it's a kind of well-prepared budget, measures and balances financial, production, marketing resources to achieve goals. Don't think that budget is just prepare, just writing down numbers. No, so it's more than that. We have to understand the reality in here. Organizations, there can be different kinds of budget. There can be master budgets, which basically have your operating budget, which is all about your income statement, and there can be some financial budgets, which are covering some of your expenditures and also your cash position. Supplemental special budgets may also be there in marketing. For example, advertising budgets are there, sales budgets are there. So in addition to the master budget for your marketing plan, there can be some additional special budgets as well. Budgeting is more than accounting function, and it is an element of strategic marketing management. So that's the key to understand. Here, when you deal with the budget, you have to closely work with the finance and the accounting department. So try to make sure that marketing people are working well with them. That's what you need to do at the end of the day to implement your marketing plan really well. Last step: developing reformulation and recovery strategies. Strategies are really timeless. What does it mean? Strategies are changing. Strategies are work in progress because the environment is changing. Now look here, now these days, because of the pandemic, lots of strategies that you have already developed, you have to change now. So sudden adjustments are needed for your strategies because the environment conditions are changing. And because of that, you have to conduct marketing audits, and control procedures are really important when you are formulating and recovering the strategies. So what is a marketing audit? It's a kind of very comprehensive, systematic, independent and a periodic examination of different aspects in organization. So you have to do this marketing audit in order to find out the problem areas of your organization and also to identify and pick up the opportunities. So marketing audit should be part and parcel of your marketing activities in organization. You need to do it periodically. Don't do it on an ad hoc basis. It should be a continuous process. Marketing audit is helpful to consider what if questions of strategies. If the environment conditions change, now what do you have to do? Now, for example, these days conducting a marketing audit is really important for, let's say, supermarkets, because customers are very rarely coming to your supermarket to buy your products. So you have to question yourself our strategies which have already been developed are not working well. Now what are the changes to be made? So the number 5, this last step is all about think the strategy as a work in process. It is changing, so you have to change your strategies when the environment conditions are changing. Right. So summary of the today's lesson. So we discuss about strategic management, the 3 components. Strategic management is all about you have to understand your current situation or the strategic position, and then you have to make the strategies or the strategy choices and then strategy into action. So that's basically strategic management. And also I want you to remember the 3 perspectives I provided you regarding the strategy by the Alfred Chandler, Michael Porter and the Mintzberg. Alfred Chandler was telling strategy is a logical flow. Michael Porter was highlighting strategy is all about achieving a unique position in the marketplace. Mintzberg tells a different story. Strategy is all about emergent idea. So remember these 3 aspects when you are trying to define the term strategy. That is our second one, different perspectives on the strategy. And the strategic marketing management process. So we discussed the 5 steps one by one and try to remember these 5 steps as well. So we'll discuss these 5 steps in detail when it comes to the relevant lessons. So this is my contact information. So if you have any question, you can just send me an email as well. So thank you for today's lesson. And then we will try to meet you very soon from the lesson number 3 as well.